What's up, guys? So, when I film these, I have no control over what happens next. I film my shit, the camera gets taken away for a week or so, and then it comes back, and that's when I assume I make another video. I don't know if they're using the titles that I choose, but every time I end the video after I do this and say peace, I say out loud what I think the title of the video should be. I'm assuming they used my Big Black Idiot Goes Full Retard for the Killer Mike video. That would explain all the mean comments. What I'm getting at is that I don't want my video to be misconstrued in any way, so whatever I say at the end, that's going to be what this video is uploaded under. Anyway, the movie the title is talking about is the Netflix original Velvet Buzzsaw. Now, me personally, I'm not picky with the movies I watch, unless it's Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Harry Potter, 13 Reasons Why, any Transformers without Shia LaBeouf, 50 Shades of Gay, Avengers, Indiana Jones. If any movie comes out that resembles any of those, I fucking hate them. Which is weird because this movie is not like any of those. It's about this lady who finds and tries to sell these paintings that come to life and kill people. Sounds somewhat cool, and with a name like Velvet Buzzsaw, you would think it's somewhat badass. So without further ado, let's get into this. So the movie starts out with this guy, Morph Vanderwalt. Yeah, it's gonna be one of those movies. And he's walking through this Miami art gallery, and he comes across this thing where it shows a perfect example of if your art is anything but a painting or a sculpture, you didn't get enough oxygen at birth.
Once I built a railroad.
The next scene, this girl Josefina gets a call from her secretary Coco, who, by the way, has a weird contact photo. Looks like she was about to get kidnapped and the guy needed photo evidence to confirm that she was the target. Anyways, Coco tells her that she's seen her boyfriend with another girl at a bar, and this is where the fate of this movie is sealed. Just take a look at this award-winning acting right here.
Are you serious?
I saw him with this girl
When?
last night at a bar.
What?
They were both pretty drunk.
It's like she's reading a cue card that's really far away, and those are the three things she thinks it said. How does the voice of the person you're talking to do a better acting job than you? Next, they just start shoving characters in our face like we weren't just 2 minutes into the movie. Also, it's worth mentioning that if you are brave enough to watch this, watch it with subtitles, because between their accents and their stupid art talk, most scenes just end up sounding like this.
Is Pierce leaving with Dorothy?
Oh, I'm certain you'd have to ask him that.
We get another 5-star performance from Josefina,
Are you okay?
Literally the worst fucking day.
and then we're finally introduced to another main character. This one's name is Redora Hayes. She's Josefina's boss, she owns her own art gallery called the Hayes Gallery, and she wants to show Morph a piece from it.
This wasn't in the catalog.
Which is basically a giant metal ball with massive glory holes going through it. You're supposed to stick your arm in one and you feel a unique sensation. You know that fat, unhealthy security guard who works the night shift is getting his salsa all over that thing? Who knows what body fluids these people are touching by sticking their hand in there? She's for sure getting pregnant if she doesn't wash her hands tonight. Next, we're introduced to Marquise de Lafayette from Hamilton, which I forgot to mention earlier. Or did I? If any movie comes out that resembles any of those, I fucking hate them. Oh yeah, and the musical Hamilton. Redora is talking to him about having his art displayed at her art gallery, and before he agrees, he says that he knows all about her and the band's name she used to be in.
Oof, that was many moons ago.
Velvet Buzzsaw.
Yeah.
Yeah, they named the movie after a fake band that one of the characters used to be in that has nothing to do with the storyline, other than to make you say, oh, that's why they named it that? They even wrote for her in the script to say why they chose that name.
Well, the name was catchy.
That's probably like movie naming rule number 1. If you're gonna name your movie something catchy, make sure it has at least something to do with the storyline. This is like clickbaiting at a professional level. So just when you thought there were no more new characters, this movie says fuck you and brings back from the dead Lenny from Of Mice and Men.
And I get the Tinder rap.
So this dork with glasses is trying to do the same thing Redora's doing, but instead to an old white man.
Our gallery has cutting-edge analytics to maximize deal flow and global demand.
Again, this scene is just basically them trying to sound smart.
I am fighting to get back to creation, to revelation, the billion years of energy.
So throughout this movie, they have like really long cutscenes, I would say, that just are added into the movie because they're like, oh shit, our movie's 20 minutes long. It's like the movie is, here's the storyline, and then branches off for way too long, and then it just cuts back to the storyline. And then 20 minutes in, it goes this way, cuts off, branches off for way too long of nonsense, and then cuts back to the storyline. It's like they could have done 45, they could have cut this movie down about an hour and only had it been 52 minutes instead of an hour and 52 minutes. The first one is these two in a car smoking a wax pen.
Is that tobacco?
Hash oil.
Maybe I'll have one little puff.
Next, they're at a hotel and she's just like, fist me, dog. Next, we're at Rhonda's dope-ass house, and she's talking about how Miami wasn't a good, thriving market. She apparently didn't go to the good part of Miami.
Drugs known as bath salts being blamed for a gruesome scene in Miami.
Anyway, she's chilling with her super sick weed socks on, and then gets way too mad at Siri for doing something, for actually not doing something that she could easily just do.
Pop art. Pop art.
Fuck me.
We then get a look at her stupid tattoo, and I could say that, but we get a look at the tattoo that has nothing to do with the movie other than letting us know the name of the movie. Also, why is it off-centered? That pisses me off. That's like me getting this tattoo, but having the L start here and then the D carry over to this finger. What? The next scene is nothing other than an excuse to show us some black booty cheeks. This dude literally got paid to say a few lines and then do a Dark Knight dive out of this bitch. I'm not kidding either. That's the last time we ever see him in this movie. And finally, after all that consecutive nonsense, you thought I was skipping around and showing you the nonsense scenes. Those were all chronologically in order, leading up to finally the storyline. And Josefina has just discovered someone who could have used a life alert, because he's fallen and he's never getting up. I don't know if they tell you in the movie, but this guy's name is Vitrol Dees, and apparently he's one of the main characters in the movie. You don't know that because he's died already. Later that night, while Josefina is getting her mail, she runs into the owner of the building, who lets her know that the guy who died, Vitrol Dees, was an artist and he wants all his paintings destroyed. But she's like, fuck that, he's dead. So she goes into his apartment and steals all the paintings for herself. While in the dude's apartment though, she does discover that he was trying to burn all his paintings in his fireplace before he died. Not taking that as a sign to fuck off immediately, she proceeds to do what she's doing. The next night, while Josefina is going through all the paintings she stole from a dead man, Fedora walks in and is like, if you want to make any money from these paintings, you're gonna have to work with me and give me a percentage, bitch. Josefina agrees and Minora takes the paintings to Morph for appraisal, and he's like, oh, fuck yeah, dude, art, I love it. Then, while getting the paintings tested in a lab, the scientist lets Redora know that real blood was used to make these. Again, not taking that as a sign to fuck off, she's like, let me display those in my next art showing or art gallery thing or whatever the fuck art people have. And then I thought, that's how art people are. The painting could have been made with orphan baby shit and the price probably would have gone up. Next, Morph decides to get some background information on the mysterious painter Vitrol Dees, and I'm glad he's doing it because apparently nobody else in this movie cared who the dude was. So he's going through some old censuses, or sensei, whatever he says. He's going through some old papers on information about him, and then shows this. What the fuck is this? That you couldn't get a better fake picture to be in your movie? This isn't the first 48. Pretty sure you could have got a better quality photo to show who the fuck you're talking about. The whole time he's giving me background information on the guy, he's not answering like the good questions. Why did he use blood? Was he insane? Did he know that blood was better than paint? Did he know something we didn't? He's like, oh, this guy worked at a factory. Who gives a shit, dude? I want to know why he used his own blood to paint some crazy-ass photos that come to life and kill people.
Vitrol Dees.
These nuts.
Another 5 minutes of this happens. And we're back to the story. So remember this guy from earlier?
You're too late. The door already got her coffee.
Yeah, me neither. But apparently he works for Redora as like a maintenance guy, and he's been told to transfer the Vitrol Dees paintings into storage. And now, 44 minutes and 45 seconds in to this hour and 52-minute movie, we get some action. So while Bryson from Zoomies
My name's Bryson.
is on his way to the storage, he's like, hey, how about I put one of these priceless paintings in between my legs, smoke a cigarette, and then ash it like a dumbass. Then one of the paintings turns to him and is like, vaping is safer than cigarettes, and then goes all X Games mode on his clothes.
Oh my god.
Causing him to lose control of the truck and then slam into a building. He manages to make it into the building to this dirty sink to put some water on his wounds when all of a sudden this oddly placed photo of monkeys comes to life and presumably kills him because the lights go out. A few days later, these two are called to go down to an impound yard to go through the truck. The guy lets him know that nothing was found except for some AirPods and some half-smoked cigarettes. By the way, what idiot cop put the AirPods and the smoked cigarettes in the same evidence bag? I'm really convinced that the people they hired for props just did that, and they're like, watch dude, no one's gonna notice in the final cut. So next, this girl Coco, who I thought was Josephine's assistant, but it turns out she was Redora's, but she just got fired, so now she's applying to be the assistant of Redora's rival. I actually forgot why I brought her up. Next scene. Okay, so now Coco's new boss is about to close up for the night when all of a sudden he hears some noises coming from one of his art exhibits. He goes to check it out, and after some old movie plays, he goes up and tries to fix a flickering light when a mysterious hand comes out of nowhere and just grabs his tie and hangs him. Coco discovers his body the next day, giving us a hilarious shot of his face. And we're off to the funeral.
Smog orange? They buy it on sale?
But nothing happens here though, so let's move on. So after another 8 minutes of nonsense filled with eye exams and note reading...
2, 1. Better, worse, no different.
No different.
Dependency murders creativity.
Shut up and get on with the movie. So back at the main art gallery, Gretchen, the blonde lady, and Coco, who apparently works for everybody now, are finishing up some last minute things when Gretchen sends Coco home for the night. After Coco leaves, Gretchen goes over to the steel glory ball and decides she wants some of that glory. So she goes fist deep in one of the holes and then shit gets bad because the light starts turning red, blood starts coming out of the holes, her arm gets cut off. It's just a big mess. But then guess who? Yep. Coco discovers the dead body, but not before some kids get to play around in the blood. After everyone starts dying, Morph realizes that it may have something to do with the paintings that they stole from a dead man who uses blood to paint those paintings.
But something truly goddamn strange is going on!
Should have been a red flag in the beginning, but art knows no boundaries. But anyway, Morph is like, fuck that shit, and decides he's gonna put all his Vitral D's paintings into storage and advises that Josephine and Redora do the same. While down in storage though, Morph is met by the robot from earlier, who's like, I'm gonna kill you now, and then kills him now. Then Josephina goes into this random art gallery in the middle of an alley and realizes that that was a bad idea because all the paint from each painting is starting to take over her body and apparently kill her. Anyway, Coco discovers another dead body. And remember that tattoo from earlier? Well, it's like, enough is enough. I should have been centered, you dumb bitch. And then slices her neck open. And yeah, guys, that's it. If y'all are confused about anything, well, so am I. And I'm the one who was watching it. A couple things before I end the video. One, what was the point of John Malkovich's character? Him, Coco, guy with braids, and a couple other characters had no reason in being in this movie. The fact that you got John Malkovich and didn't put him as a better role shows that this movie puts the E in fucking terrible. And yeah, if it seemed like a short review, that's because if I went over everything, it would have been like me going over 10 movies in one. But yeah, peace. The name of the video should be Movies That Cause Stage 4 Cancer.